Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Gear here at Greenlane Players Sports. We have a very special guest here today, New Zealand Test cricketer with Kookaburra, Guptill.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Man.
So obviously everyone knows about your extensive career in New Zealand Test cricket. Can you just let us know just a little bit of your role models growing up, and if you still have any that you still look up to, or maybe even some young guns that are coming through and you just think, wow.
Man, got to think back quite a way now. Like when I was younger, I was a bit of an all-rounder. You know, as you're younger, you have a go at everything. So a bit of an all-rounder. So Chris Cairns was a huge one when I was really young. And then once I started to be a bit more of a batter only, then Nathan Astle was a big one for me. And then when I was at the New Zealand Cricket Academy, I got to play in the same teams, both of them. Got to bat with Nathan, which was really cool. Really cool experience, and obviously he was Kookaburra as well throughout his career. So no, that was really special. So yeah, those two were big ones for me growing up.
Nice. Do you remember buying or being given your first English willow bat? What model was it, and what did that moment mean to you?
I can't remember my first English willow bat, but I can definitely remember my first bat. Unfortunately, it was a Gunner But I can remember the first Kookaburra that I actually used was it was a hand-me-down from a fellow Test cricketer, Reece Young. It was a Kookaburra Ridgeback, so it was a real throwback. Well, it wasn't really throwback back then, but nowadays it was a throwback. It was a pretty cool bat, and one I used for a while before obviously going through a few different bats, and then eventually ending up in Kookaburra.
You spoke about like your heroes growing up, also using Kookaburra. Can you just touch on your relationship with Kookaburra and why you evidently chose Kookaburra in the end?
I can remember my dad had it was Kookaburra. It was called a Big Kahuna, and it was this massive piece of wood that was way too heavy for me because I was so skinny. It was probably actually heavier than me. And then from there, I scored quite a few runs with it that sort of season. And then I just one of my dad's good friends from our cricket club coached him and things like that. Took me into Kookaburra, and I was in all the age group teams and things like that, and sort of on the radar. And then sort of signed a contract that afternoon when I went in, and then that was in I want to say March or April 2004, and now 21 and a half years later, I'm still with them and
never look back.
Never look back. No.
You've used, like you said, you've used Kahuna for much of your playing career, and that's long been Kookaburra's like flagship model. And we see nowadays that's been part of this elite group, alongside the names of Ricky Ponting and A.B. de Villiers. When you look back, do you look back with pride at being part of that elite group, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it is pretty special. I mean, you look at Ricky Ponting and AB, and they're like legends of the game, and to be able to use the same gear they did in their career, it's pretty special. I was lucky enough to play a number of years for New Zealand, and to be able to use Kahuna through a lot of that was really special, and something I certainly haven't taken for granted, and a lot of pride in that. But I can remember my first series I was going to play against Australia, and the Kahuna at that time had Ricky Ponting's signature inside the graphics, and I can remember going in and saying, "Is there any chance that we can change this? I'm literally going to play against Ponting next week, and his autograph was like on my back. Can we go and change it?" Like, and then they ended up going, "Yes, that's actually a really good point." So I ended up getting some new stickers on the bat. So.
Being a fan.
Imagine that you scored and it's like, "Look, I got your signature." You've spoken before about you're not really fussed about the grades on the willow. You just want the biggest bat you can get. Can you touch on why that is? You did touch on, your dad had an old cricket bat that was really big for you and way too big, like was overweight. Is that a point of it, or just talk us through that?
No, not necessarily. It's just all about what felt good for me. I was never fussed about how many grains my bat had. I didn't want to be one of these high maintenance players.
Oh, we see a lot of them.
At the end of the day, if the bat feels good and the ball comes off the bat well, it's going to work for you, isn't it? So I mean, whether it has 5 grains or 15 grains, if the bat comes off and goes over the boundary, it's performing the same, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely. Is there a particular bat during your playing career that you remember most, and do you still have it today?
Oh, there's been a few. I don't keep too many bats, but I have kept some special ones. I've got the bat I got 100 on debut with. I got that at home. For first ODI 100, I got my first Test 100 bat.
Yeah.
I've got my first T20 100 bat. The bat I broke the New Zealand ODI high score with, and then I've got my one that I got 200 with in the World Cup. So I think that's about 5 bats that I've held on to.
Nice.
Wow.
Some good memories there.
Yeah. I wish I had a collection like that.
We know about cricketers and their little quirks, and they're a little bit superstitious. So English, sorry. Do you have any of your little quirks that kind of help you, or did you kind of sway away from that so you weren't put into that routine?
I didn't have too many, to be honest. I'm not like a Ross Taylor he's like real superstitious sort of thing. So I sort of, I think cricket's hard enough as it is without having to be, strictly on a routine, that sort of thing. But one thing that I always still do to this day, is I put my left pad on first when padding up. So,
yeah. I always put my left sock on first when I play rugby. You touched on your ODI debut and you scoring 122 runs, which is crazy. That's insane. Was there like a moment during that game where you thought to yourself, man, like I've made it?
Not really, to be honest. I got dropped 4 times before I got to 80, so I was like, but that's neither here nor there. But no, like you were going through the innings, I was sort of just like in the zone really, and I wasn't thinking about too much else outside of what was going on. So I just sort of kept trying to bat. I ended up batting 50 overs, being not out at the end, and the game ended up being rained out. But it was just it was a pretty surreal day. Fresh-faced 22-year-old, and just
debut,
being thrown in the deep end, and in mid-series, you're going to be batting 3, and then the day before they said, oh no, you're actually opening. So I was like straight in, and I didn't really have time to be nervous or anything like that. It was just straight into it.
Going on some of your record runs, 237 runs, 2015 World Cup. Can you just speak about that moment, and then the few days after, were you still on a high, say a week after that?
A week after that was on a pretty big low after losing the World Cup final. But,
other than that.
No, during that innings it was, so the back end of that innings it was like everything was a bit of a blur, just because everything happened so quickly. Yep. But the first half, wasn't particularly special 100 or anything like that. It was 100 off 111 balls, but it was the next 52 balls that things sort of ramped up a bit and I went a bit crazy. So it was like a switch flicked. I hadn't hit a 6 in the first 111 balls, and then the next 50 odd balls I think I hit 11. So that's like one every less than 5 balls or something like that. I just went a bit silly and a bit crazy, and I don't know what happened, but there was a ball that I think Darren Sammy was bowling, and it was just another ball that I'd just been hitting for singles and things like that, and I just put my foot down and I slogged him over mid wicket, and it was sort of from that moment I said the switch had flicked, and I just went, and I was just trying to hit everything out of the park.
Nice. As us as rugby players, after a big game, we like to go to Macca's or KFC or something like that. I just want to know what your go-to after match meal is.
We usually get food at the ground after the match, so it's sort of put on for us. But
we should bring that up with our clubs.
Yeah,
but after a tour, if we've been away, on the airport on the way back, it's usually Macca's at wherever we're coming back from.
Yeah. Do you ever go to Macca's orders?
Oh, it's always Big Mac. Big Mac, double cheeseburger with mayonnaise.
Big Kahuna, Big Mac.
I know, that guy goes big with everything. When you walked in here, our first reactions were, man, this guy is huge. So initially we thought surely he must have played rugby growing up. So you touched on dabbling with other sports growing up as well. Was there any other kind of competing sport that you're planning on taking seriously growing up, or other than cricket?
Well, cricket was always my number one.
Yep.
It was always my first love. I always wanted to play that. I played 2 years rugby. I was always too small as a kid. I was a real small kid, so I was always a bit small and get picked on by the bigger boys. So I sort of gave that away pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I played when I was at Avondale College. I played first 11 soccer for 2 years. So I was goalkeeper there, and I think it was my 6th form year. I was sort of on the radar for the New Zealand secondary schools team, but didn't make it in the end. But it was
Oh,
we had a pretty good year that year and got promoted to the 1A comp, and then
Nice.
quickly back down after my second year.
oh, that's cool. I could definitely relate when it comes to being promoted to 1A. I went to Dorothy School.
Oh yeah, nice.
And we made history with making the 1A rugby division after our season.
And now they get smacked every year.
And now, I mean, it happens. We're just waiting for a new coach, hopefully, and a new management team.
You spoke about, you touched on getting dropped in and out of the test team. Can you just speak about that and how you have to stay really driven, you can't really let that affect you?
Yeah, it's tough. It's always hard when you get dropped. I mean, I got dropped after, I think it was about a year or so in the team. It was only for one game in the end, but then I was straight back in, and I got 80 odd in that game, and then sort of played for the next little while, and then injuries happened, and then you don't sort of get back into the team. I think I was out of the team for a couple of years. And that's just through injuries and other people getting opportunities, taking them and that sort of thing. So when I came back in, it was a bit up and down, I'm not going to lie, but I was in there for another couple of years, and another 18 months I think it was, and then ultimately that was the end of my sort of test career after that. But it is hard, and always wanted to play, and when I came out of the test team, I came back and played for Auckland straight away, and scored a lot of runs in the red ball cricket for Auckland in the next couple of games. So I always wanted to keep playing. I got back into the test squad for a series in 2018. Never got back into the team, but sort of got there, and then from there it was done. So sort of focused on white ball cricket from there.
Nice. You've also been on quite a few tours with New Zealand cricket. Was there any particular tour that you kind of just stood out and you had really good memories, either off the field or on the field?
Oh, every tour's got their sort of special parts to them. I can't sort of pick one sort of moment, but whenever you're playing World Cup, on the big stage, that was always pretty special. I got to play in 3 ODI World Cups, 2011, 15 and 19. Wow. I think I played in 7, I was involved in 7 T20 World Cups. So something along those lines. So yeah, pretty special. I think what was that? There was 29, 09, 10, 12, 14, 16, 21 and 22. So,
wow.
Yeah, there's a number of them in there.
That's a great career, just from hearing those dates. So you're a family man as well. You have kids, you've got your wife. How did you manage to, stay within the sport for this long while trying to manage, your life outside of cricket?
It is a big juggle. I'm very lucky that Laura's so supportive. And now the shoe's on the other foot. Now I'm the supportive one while Laura does all her stuff, because she's busy. She's doing such a great job with all her work. But yeah, it is a juggle. But they say it takes a village to raise a family, and we're very lucky that we've got such a supportive family that they live just around the corner from us, really, and they take over and help out whenever. There's still times when Laura and I are both away at different parts of the world, and the kids are at home. So it's really tough. But we've got a very supportive network of family that help us out.
Love that.
Yeah, me too. Second question is, who's more famous out of you or your wife, Laura?
Probably Laura these days. I mean, no, as I said, Laura's work is, it's really taking off and kicking off massively. So, my job is to support her as best I can, and hopefully I'm doing a good job.
Just on that, just going a little bit off topic, are you? Is there any people that your wife has met or interviewed, and you're like, well, can I meet her? Can I meet her?
She had a pretty awesome one during the 2023 ODI World Cup in India. She interviewed Sachin Tendulkar and David Beckham at the same time in a mid-innings break in one of the games. So that was that's a massive highlight for her.
Wow.
That's huge. She's a big Spice Girls fan when she was younger, growing up, and obviously Victoria Beckham being in that, and then getting to interview David in it was part of the UNICEF sort of thing in India, where he was over there for that. So that was she was pretty starstruck with that.
Moment.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You faced a lot of bowlers in your career. Can you name us who the 3 toughest bowlers you've come across or against, and what made them so difficult to play against?
Yeah, one that stands out straight away is Dale Steyn. He's I always seem to have trouble with him. I'm not sure why, I just did. But he wasn't a very big guy. He's not a very big guy, and he bowled quick, and he was always in your face. Just really, aggressive on the park, and really just a great competitor. And then when you speak to him off the field, he's completely different. It's really weird, just such a nice guy off the field and stuff. But he's definitely one that I had trouble with. And I think when we go to India and play there, I think the tandem of Ashwin and Jadeja bowling in tandem was really tough, really difficult. You had to be on your game to be able to combat them. So I'd probably put those three up there. For different reasons, but they were tough.
Obviously you've played pretty much around the world for cricket. Was there 3 arenas or stadiums that you've played in that has kind of stood out to you, either for bad or for worse?
There's obviously always Lords. That's such great, the history there, the quirkiness of the slope and that sort of thing is pretty awesome. And I've managed to play a few games there. That'd be up there. The SCG, Sydney Cricket Ground, is such an awesome stadium to play at. I really enjoyed playing there. And then the other one, which I didn't play too much at, but I got to play there, is the Wanderers in South Africa. Playing at altitude, things like that, and the ball flies there, which is awesome. Managed to have a good couple of innings there, so it was happy days.
Nice. You touched on bowling.
Yeah.
I believe that the best bowler he will be facing will be you afterwards for a bit of shock cricket, is it not?
I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn.
Because you got a mean spin, don't you?
I've got a mean leg spin, but I don't want to give away too much. Really.
None of your tells where your pinky comes up?
Nah. Adi's taught me well. Shout out to Adi Ashok. Cool. Once again, thank you to Martin for dropping by and shooting this episode with us. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our TikTok as well as our Instagram at Players Sports NZ. And if you're ever looking for sports gear, make sure you drop in store or shop online. Thank you guys, and we'll see you at the next one. Let's go.